My name's Thomas Schultz. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to walk through what's called a non-linear PowerPoint presentation. First, we have to understand where we're going with linear and non-linear. In a linear presentation, the slides show up sequentially. Slide 1, Slide 2, Slide 3, and so on until you hit the end of your presentation. In a non-linear presentation, I'm going to show you how you can choose the order any way you want. In this example, we're going to do a very simple non-linear break in the presentation to make two decisions. You want to go one way or the other way. This idea can be extended to make an infinitely complex presentation, but here's just the basic idea. As you can see, we've split it to where now you can go two ways. The way this is achieved is by simply putting two hidden controls inside the presentation. So if you click on the upper left-hand corner, it goes one way. If you click on the lower right-hand corner, it goes another. This technique is useful in a few scenarios. Here's a couple of examples. Say you're going to give a presentation to the board of directors or to key members of senior and executive staff. And some of the ideas or topics you're going to touch on might be either sensitive or might be hard to convey, or you may not have gotten the idea across in the right way. So with this method, during a live presentation, you can make decisions on the spot. For sales, this is also an invaluable tool. In key sales presentations for major clients, before they sign deals, sometimes they want to know a lot of information. And when you're up there, you're making a sale. You might notice some members responding to one sales technique or may not respond to another sales technique as you're giving a presentation. This methodology alleviates that problem by giving you options live while you're in the presentation to maximize its effectiveness to yourself and to the people you're presenting to. In my career in corporate America, I would see so often so many people walk out of boardrooms and say, "Oh, I should have used this presentation. I wish I'd prepared for this," or "I wish I could have made this idea." With non-linear presentations, this wish will now become a reality. Now, we're going to look at the PowerPoint presentation and do a couple quick run-throughs so we can see how it actually works. So here we are in the original PowerPoint presentation. For the first run, we're going to click in the center of the presentation. What this will do is make PowerPoint go through the slides in a linear fashion, like you saw in the beginning of the video. Next, we're going to click in the upper left-hand corner. This will take the path that follows the yellow slides. Now we're going to take the lower right-hand corner, and this will take the path of the black colored slides. Well, that concludes the conceptual portion of today's demonstration. If you stay after the ending credits, you will see the technical piece of the demonstration, and that shows you bit by bit how everything was designed. Until then, thank you for joining me. My name is Thomas Schultz, and you can reach me at budgetarycasualty@gmail.com. Thank you. Welcome back. Now we're going to start building the presentation. First, we're going to do a one-time setup. We are going to save it in a macro-enabled PowerPoint presentation. To do that, we're going to create a blank presentation. We're going to go ahead and delete the first slide, and then go to File, Save As. In this dialog box, we're going to make sure that we choose Macro-Enabled Presentation. The next thing we have to do is a one-time setup. We have to enable the Developer tab, and this is done by going into the options. Now we're going to create the first slide. We're going to just add a blank slide, then we're going to change the background, and then we're going to add a title and in this case I'm setting the font to 100 so that it will be visible. Now we're going to be adding the left and right boxes. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick little VBA primer. PowerPoint is not often thought of being a programmable application in the Microsoft Office suite, but in fact everything, up to and including project and to some extent MapPoint, can be programmed. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a very quick primer in VBA. It's normally pretty scary and a lot of people get a little nervous when you talk about coding VBA window, but today we're only going to need to learn one statement, and I'm going to show you that now. The top line you're seeing in green is the only thing that you'll need to know. You will then copy it exactly, changing only the number in red. The red number will correlate directly with the slide in the presentation. So if you want the first slide, you'll put 1. If you want the second slide, you'll put 2. And so on and so on. This is how you make the nonlinear presentation work. You just simply point it to whatever slide in the presentation you're looking for. In this case, I did do every other slide just to show the concept of a nonlinear presentation and how to code it. The next step will be to add the image control. What we're going to do is we're going to go to that developer tab we set up, and we're going to choose the image control, and we're going to drag and drop it in the upper left-hand corner. Now you can make these as big or as small as you want, depending upon your needs for the presentation. We're going to set the back style to transparent and the border style to none. Finally, we're going to go back and make sure we set the colors to match the background of the PowerPoint presentation. In this case, I've already hunted down the exact color matching, but if you use your standard colors on your backgrounds, it'll be much easier and you can just use the color picker. Alternately, if you have a very complex background, you can use an image editor to cut out the same size image that you see on your pixels, and then you can just match it to your background after you get done with it in an image editor. Now we're going to set up the lower right hand corner, and you'll do it the same way you did with the image control in the upper left hand corner. If you look at these slides, basically we have all 8 of them. Notice the numbers in the lower left hand corners, or now in the upper hand corners. When we right click and go view code, we're going to put it in, and we see that it goes to slide 2. And then we can see that it goes here. We're going to look in the upper left hand corner again. We're going to see it's slide 4. Then we're going to jump down to the B box, go to the right hand side, and we see how we tie these slides to where we need them to be. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick look and just sort of see how they're tied. Now the last slide has no box to it because it is going to directly follow the end slide, so it can behave in a linear fashion as PowerPoint normally defaults to. Finally, a couple of endnotes. The first thing is to make sure that you or your presenter are very familiar with where the hidden controls are and that you can have control over where the mouse click goes during the presentation. The second most important thing is to practice, practice, practice. Practicing the presentation will make a difference in the successful use of nonlinear presentations. Thank you for joining me. This has been the final portion of the technical demonstration. Again, my name is Thomas Schultz, and you can reach me at budgetarycasualty@gmail.com. Thank you.